It is Storm Watch time at the Weather Channel. I'm Paul Emick. We'll look at all the active weather coast to coast, including some storminess in the upper Midwest. We now have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, parts of Iowa, Missouri, and also in the western sections of Illinois for the risk of additional severe weather, and the tornado watch in effect in parts of Texas. That's all associated with Tropical Storm Bret. Again, the tornado watch in Texas is. That's why we'll take a look at our tropics here first. Of course, the Tropical Storm Bret still a big story. At once it was a powerful Category 4 hurricane, but it did weaken about the time of impact with land around to a Category 3 hurricane, still very powerful. Tropical Storm Bret now it is 27.6 north, 98.6 west, 45 miles to the east of Laredo. So winds sustained around 40 miles per hour, still moving west-northwest around 6 miles per hour. Now, as it continues to move, the big problem with it is going to be it's going to dump incredible amounts of rain. Now, some estimates, some Doppler radar estimates, which have a tendency to kind of downplay the amount of rain because of the properties of tropical moisture. Sometimes Doppler estimates don't get a real handle on it. Very small particulate, just very, very tiny droplets of water. When they fall, it doesn't always really do a good job of getting a handle on how much is actually fallen. So in many cases, you may see 28 to 30 inches of rain that has already fallen in some locations, and some locations may pick up another 5 to 10 inches of rainfall, not at all out of the question. You can still see it circulating there pretty dramatically, counterclockwise motion, moving ashore. Also, a lot of times when systems start to interact with land, we often see, especially with tropical systems in the right front quadrant, a risk of tornadoes. That's been the case, too. We saw a number of tornadoes yesterday, but also in the lower left side of it as well, another area that could be tornado ripe throughout our day. We'll keep you apprised of that situation. No tornado warnings as of a little while ago, but you may still see the interaction there that could cause problems. It's pretty common when you see a tropical system interacting with land that tornadoes are often spawned as a result of that interaction. Still some storms coming into Corpus Christi, heavy rains and some winds still could be a major concern for us. Tornado watch in effect means tornadoes still again a possibility in and around this particular area. Keep apprised of the happenings here on the Weather Channel. We'll keep you on top of that. Also the flash flooding, another major story into Texas. With the heavy soaking rains, the flash flood risk is quite dramatic. There's another vantage point on the happenings here. You see it from the satellite vantage point. Things have been kind of weakening a bit. The system has begun kind of a slow demise as now it's kind of away from its fuel source, that warm, moist water from the Gulf of Mexico. So it's not being fed as well, literally, so it will start to kind of weaken and eventually die away to some residual moisture here in a couple of days. Another area of great interest, though, right there. Not too hard to spot this one, not too far from Puerto Rico, drifting northwest. There's some concern this may be becoming a classified system. We'll keep you apprised of that. But again, it's in a situation where it's favorable for development. So we'll continue to monitor this area and bring you further reports as it is being inspected by the Air Force Reserve. The Air Force Reserve's hurricane hunters are taking a look at that today. We'll bring you up to date on that in just a little bit. Tropical Storm Cindy, at one point it was a hurricane that has weakened a little bit due to some shear. Some shear has worked to kind of weaken it a bit. Not a real favorable environmental loft. But it could move in a spot here shortly, the next 24 hours, where it's back in a more favorable scenario. We could again be looking at a hurricane again. West-northwest around 10 miles per hour, sustained winds around 60. Keep our eye on that for you, as well as look at the waves that continue to move off, the tropical waves off the coast of Africa and the Cape Verde region. Also not too far from Cabo San Lucas, we're continuing to monitor an area of disturbed weather as well in the Pacific. Otherwise, things look pretty quiet in most of the Gulf of Mexico right now. Here's a look at the current weather across the contiguous 48. Showers and storms.
This is a walk in the park this year.